John Kasich. Joe? Oh.
I've never used a podium or a microphone in this room. This is bizarre. It's fascinating. I have to use it. Well, I want to thank the whole board. You know, I'm aware of the fact that in the beginning things were difficult, and there was some acrimony and some strong feelings and all of that. I get it, and I'm sorry we had to go through that period. And I hope that most of you feel that that time is kind of behind us, because I think it's important that a governor be able to be in a position to have a superintendent who can work really seamlessly with the governor, although, you know, as you know, we just can't go around picking everything we want here. But I want to tell you that I think we've made some great progress. We'll close that door. Back, come on in. You know, what I want to tell you about is that I have only really a couple interests in being governor, and the most important one is to give people work, to give people jobs, because when people have jobs, then families are stronger and people feel better about themselves, and at the end of the day, their kids are better off. So we've really spent all of our time trying to figure out how to create an environment in the state where businesses would really feel comfortable in expanding or coming here. We're having some really great success in this process. I mean, we're up probably somewhere, I mean, the latest estimate is about 60,000 net new jobs, and our unemployment has fallen from nearly 10% to 7.7%. And there's some areas that, you know, the gains have been really staggering. When you take a look at the Mahoney Valley, for example, we've done a lot better there. So I believe that my mission is really to continue to lower the cost of doing business, to be in a position of where we can really be engaged. You know, we just had great success with Abbott. You know, I found out Abbott was thinking about making a big investment, a new investment, and they were really on the verge of going to another state, and we were able to win them. And, you know, Abbott's a fantastic operation. And $270 million worth of investment, a couple hundred jobs that will absolutely expand. Just last week, we just were able to get a company, and I still can't figure out where they're located, but they do a HR function for companies. They come in, they do all the interviewing, the hiring, and everything else. And when I talked to the CEO, she was in Ireland. And they're located all over the world with this process, and they were headed to North Carolina. And after a lot of work by our people and a call from me, they're now going to be in Cleveland with a couple hundred jobs, committed to expanding and really helping. I mean, these are the kind of things that are happening every day. And so I feel good about it, because we know that when people are out of work, a lot of times very bad things happen, including things like prescription drug abuse, which we see as a terrible situation in our state and our country. But the second thing that I feel really strongly about, coming from the Keys Rocks and being the son of a mailman, and you know, my father didn't go to college, and I said in the state of the state that my Uncle George was the first one to go to college. He became a guidance counselor, and he was there for like forever, and it was just great. And my father and my uncle, and I think the two sisters were the only ones who could go to high school. One of my uncles fought at Iwo Jima, never went to high school. And, you know, I got to go from the Keys Rocks to Ohio State and the state senate and Congress. I'm not sure that was the right career path, I think about it. And now I get to be governor, you know. And when I stop and I think about children, you know, you don't know who the next kid is that's going to discover the cure for cancer. You don't know the next kid that's going to figure out how to hook up a spine so people in wheelchairs can walk. We just don't know. We don't know who these people are. And if kids are not stood up for by adults, then we're lost. And we know how critical education is. Just in the, I forget where I was reading one of, I do read a lot of stuff, and I was reading somewhere that Thomas Friedman said, forget your natural assets, your oil. It's all an investment in the brain, in the mind, in ideas. And the countries that seem to do the best are the ones that have the greatest rigor on education. So, my whole deal on education is it's not some philosophical bent, like, I went to some, conservative school to learn what works. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in what it is that's going to get our education system off the dime, and what it is that's going to give every single kid inside of our system a chance to be successful. That's all I care about. And I don't view anybody in this whole education establishment as anybody that, that I dislike, but more a matter of people that I agree and disagree with. And I've got to tell you, we've got a very long way to go. And I take a look at our high school graduation rate, and 41% of our kids are in remedial programs. I mean, that just doesn't work. And our dropout rates, or graduation rates in some of our universities, I mean, if I were to tell you that we've got a university in Ohio where we have a 4-year graduation rate of 14%, I mean, that's just unbelievable. So some kid goes to college, right, and is there for a year or two, drops out, gets nothing for it except big high-cost bills. So, and when you talk to some of the President's universities that say, I have this high dropout rate, they'll tell you that some of the kids that come in that they have to remediate come from schools that are labeled excellent. So all I'm trying to do in this job is to get a series of things that we can do that I think will improve the public education system, which is always going to be with us, but also to figure out ways how to empower the reformers inside of that system, and also provide some needed competition from other ways in which we can get, competition improves everything in life, not just the public school system, but it improves everything, from the clothes we wear to the food we eat. Competition works. So we've had a very busy, I don't know, what is it now, 14 months? Or is it 14 years? But I just want to tell you, let me just read through some of this. We increased the number of vouchers for the kids in the failing schools from 30 to 60,000. And we included schools in the bottom 5% of performance on the list of schools whose students are eligible. So, Waiting for Superman is a very emotional movie for me. When I watched that movie, I was down with Peggy down in Dayton, and I think I got done watching the movie, I couldn't even speak. Because if you got a mom or a dad that's got their kids trapped somewhere where they just don't think they're safe, or where they don't think they're learning, and they don't have any money, I want them to have, and the schools are failing, I want them to get them out of there and get them somewhere where the kid can be successful. People could argue with that. They could say, well, if we just do more in the current school, I think we've been doing that for about 50 years. I mean, we've had Ford and Carter and Reagan and Nixon and Bush, and we're not we're not improving to the degree that we should. So I believe that the competition here in the voucher is a positive thing to do. And frankly, one of the places that really started was Cleveland. And we've increased the tuition reimbursement for the Cleveland voucher program to align it with EdChoice. We created a special education voucher system. And by the way, in the new budget, this to me is just fantastic. With severely disabled kids, many of them end up in these things called the sheltered workshop, where they make very little money, and their skills may not be fully utilized. We're going to ask the public schools to consider allowing them to work first in a different kind of a business rather than in the sheltered workshop. Now that's going to require the people in the public schools to think a little bit about what this child's opportunities are. If they have to go into the sheltered workshop because, their ability to function puts them there, that's fine. But let's not presume that a kid can't go out and work at a Home Depot or something and make a pretty decent chunk of money compared to what they were making in this in the shoulder workshop. But more important than that, we're letting them use their God-given gifts to get as much as they can out of their lives, which I think is really good. That will be in this. That's going to be in this new massive bill we're going to be unveiling here. I don't know, whenever we get it written. It's about